All right, we are live. It is 7:30. I am Miss Tanya. Hey, 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 everybody. Hey, how y'all feeling? You're sitting at home. Some of you watching on your phone, some of you watching on your tablets, on your computers. I don't know where you are, but you're doing some typing. You're in a whole lot of conversation. There's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about. All right. Yes, Miss Tanya, I'm here. Yes, 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 I am here. And this is going to be my take on it. We got some things that we need to talk about. There's a whole lot going on right now. I know you've been talking about Coach Prime. Yeah, I got a take on it. Deion Sanders. We got to talk about it. Also, Brittney Griner. We got to talk about that. There's a whole lot going on right now. It's a whole lot of talk in our community. What you got to say about it? I want you guys to make sure that you come on in. If you got some comments, go ahead, keep typing. Type those comments in. Say what you want to say. If you got questions, if something is on your mind, if you got a question about it, type it on in. Because right now, we getting ready to get your take. You get ready to get my take. And I got a special guest. I got a special guest with me this evening who is gonna just get in here and we're gonna have a conversation, and I don't even know where it's gonna go. I don't. I got Isaac Wilson in the building, so let me bring Isaac on in. All right, let me bring Isaac in. Isaac, how you doing, man?
What's going on, Miss Tanya?
Hey, it's let me introduce you one more time. We got Isaac Wilson in the building. Everybody got to give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause.
I love it. I love it.
Listen, I got to give you that, man, because just the other day I got an opportunity to watch you on Fox Soul, man.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
dope. It was dope time. Dope time.
Tell me a little bit about that. We got some stuff we want to talk about, but before we go there, I really want to I want to let you know that hey, you represented well, brother.
Thank you. Thank
You
you. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
you really did. And I got to say that whole night had me a little nervous. I was a little nervous. I didn't
We,
know
we
what
were
was
nervous there. We were nervous there. So if you was nervous at home, imagine being there and sitting 20 feet away from Warnock and waiting on those results. So definitely whew, glad it's over.
yeah. Well, tell people, just let people know what that was like.
It was an awesome, fantastic time having the opportunity to be in the building with a sitting senator who's seeking reelection. It's incredible. The energy was great. The music was great. The fellowship was great. Getting to sit down and talk with Spike Lee for a moment. Oh my God. Blew my mind. And then the incomparable Lynn Whitfield. Oh my God. She is more beautiful in person. But just having those people who have the same commitment as you in getting people elected to serve our communities better. It just was an awesome time. Never thought I'd be able to meet those two people and let alone be in the room with the same agenda. So definitely a great moment.
All right, all right. I mean, when I was watching you on Fox Soul, I mean, they had quite a few pundits on there, and it is about conversation, and
Yeah.
everybody's going to have their opinions. They were rocking for their size very hard.
Yeah. Yeah,
They really
definitely.
were. They were. But let me tell you, you held it down for us.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
you
I
really
try.
did. Now let me ask you something, man. Because you see what's going on right now.
Hmm.
You see what's going on. You know what's going on with Coach Prime. I think we need to have a little chit chat about that.
Yeah, let's have a chit chat about Coach Prime.
Brother, I don't even I don't even know where to start because I can't even believe the conversation has gone where it has gone. It just baffles me. I think about what do people want? Like how much do you want from a person? And how much does a person have to give? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think with us in our community, in our African American community, we want people to give up so much of themselves that they get nothing in return. Even if they're not getting a salary, they're not getting something. They want people to just give, 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 give. And when the time and opportunity comes for people to one up or get their, get their due time, we still get mad. But they've helped you out for the past 10, 20 years. Coach Prime set an example and blazed a trail. He wasn't the first to do it, but he's the one that we know right now that is doing it. And so what he's done was set up other coaches
Yes.
to get those positions and set up a spotlight on HBCUs, and that light will continue to shine, because I don't think that Prime is going to go to Colorado and say, hey, forget about HBCUs. I don't
Not at
think he's
all.
going to do that. That's not his character.
Not at all. Not at all. I got a few things over here on my screen that, I had to pull up because he's done so many things that, I just got to remind people just in case they aren't reading the same things that I'm reading, because
Right.
I don't know what they're reading. But we want to talk a little bit about the economic impact that he's been able to make.
Mm-hmm.
$30 million to the city of Jackson, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
30 million. $9 million for 2022 with with JSU homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
9 million. Okay. 4 million for the Boombox Classic. All right. Now let's talk about the recruiting. The number one recruiting class for HBCUs in history. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He signed a 5-star recruit to HBCU. He had the most number of quality prospects to HBCUs. In television, ESPN, he got a TV deal with SWAC. Okay, and that was over $120 million
Mm-hmm.
over 10 years. 10 years beyond
Him being there, right?
but people mad. People upset about that. Let me see if I got something else up here. 125 games aired throughout the 2022 season. When has that happened?
Mm-hmm.
I really
Never.
don't know. Okay.
Never.
And then College Game Day came to Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what? What didn't he do?
And I think the most startling thing is he gave half of his salary back
Oh,
to build up the university.
right.
He didn't take it. He used his resources to build him a state-of-the-art locker room and sports facility.
Yeah.
This man has done what he said he was going to do. I think the misconception is that when he started talking about HBCUs and started talking about people supporting HBCUs and going there and coaching and doing that, I think he was trying to tell people, go and get your jobs wherever you go, but don't not take the opportunity to go to that HBCU and make them important as well. Don't just go to your white institutions and take those jobs and make them money. Stop by Howard, stop
Right.
by JSU, stop by your Morris College, stop by your Benedict colleges, and see what they have to offer, and go in there and change the mode and the tide of how they think and how they do business. That's all he did at JSU. He didn't say go and stay there forever.
Right.
Go in there and make changes and get people to notice the HBCUs have the same ability to do as the white schools do, but only if we're given the chance. That's what he meant by going and saying, let's put HBCUs in the spotlight.
Absolutely. Man, in fact, I got a little something. I want to pull up a little footage here if I can. But before I do that, I want to let everybody know that we have the opportunity to use this footage through fair use, just so that they know. Gotta do that. We gotta do that. But listen, let me play this here.
Okay, we won. Okay, down for the nitty gritty. Uh, I know y'all been hearing the rumors and everything that's been transpiring around about my whereabouts and what I'm gonna do, and I like y'all to hear it from me and not from anyone else. It is what it is. Either in coaching, you get elevated or you get terminated. Ain't no other way. You get elevated or terminated. And it ain't no graveyard for coaches where they die at the place. It don't work like that. They either gonna run you off or you gonna walk off upon your own recognizance. I've chosen to accept the job elsewhere next year. I'm gonna finish what we started. We're going to dominate. I'm going to be him to that end and that conclusion. And then when that conclusion,
Listen. I think if you don't understand what he just said, then you don't get it. He said
Yeah.
it right there, you know?
And
And
in other interviews, he said that he would obtain he would entertain other colleges, and he would
absolutely.
entertain PWIs. He said he'd be a fool not to. So he told you straight up, and he definitely would have been a fool to not take $5 million a year.
And what kind of example would he have been setting if he had not taken opportunities that were coming his way? Because he's showing them that you do something, you do a job well, and then opportunities are going to come your way, and you have to entertain those opportunities. And I look at it like this as well. Um, Athletes, most of them look like us. So
Mm-hmm.
wherever he goes, he is still going to have that same influence. I just love, see, I'm not really that much into football. The sport part of it really is not the bigger part of it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at the lives that he is able to change, the lives that he's able to influence. And let's be honest, our athletes need that type of grooming, especially at that stage, especially now with the what is it they call the NIL?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
NIL. Yep.
Right. So they need that type of guidance. And who better than someone like a Deion Sanders, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that component.
I, I think for our athletes, I think they see a bigger part. There's been no athlete to my knowledge that come out and say they dislike what he's done, and nobody from JSU. He's allowing those players to still come with him to Colorado. And he's even taken some of Nick Saban players, and they say they're going to Colorado. And I think more players would have came to JSU if it had been a 4-year institution and somebody playing in a major conference. When you talk about NILs, JSU players, they weren't getting no money. It's a 2-year institution. It wasn't getting no money. Now you take those same black players and you put them on a Colorado and a Pac-12 conference. You start winning a couple of games and start winning, you getting money.
Yes.
He's able to show them where to put their money while they're still in college and playing. You get $20,000. Hey, brother. Hey, bump your family right now.
Yes.
Go and set yourself up so you can help your family for the rest of your life.
And that's important.
And that's important. And I think nobody's looking at it from that point of view. They're just saying, well, we don't care about none of that. We just want you to stay at GSU. Don't make no money. Don't do whatever. We just want you to stay at HBCU for the culture. And I don't I get that.
I don't either. And let's talk about also, look at his son. Look at the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the opportunities that young man definitely
Mm-hmm.
deserves. He deserves that spotlight as well. Not saying that he didn't get it at Jackson State,
Mm-hmm.
but let's be real. There's a whole lot more eyes that are going to be on him, playing at a Pac-12 school,
Mm-hmm.
So look at that. And I thought about that as well. I'm like, okay, well, obviously he's not doing it for the money. Why would people even think such a thing? Deion Sanders is not broke.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not broke by far. Yeah, he ain't
He's
broke.
right. It's even at Jackson State, even his kids are not broke.
Yeah.
They aren't going to be broke. They are groomed. They are serious athletes and they are serious human beings, actually. I mean, he's raised some really good kids. I don't remember the year, but some time ago, like, remember when he had a reality show?
Mm-hmm.
He had a reality show. And within the scheme of what reality shows are, you could kind of see him as a family person. You saw that, you saw how he was raising his kids. And that really made me appreciate who he was, So when I heard that he was going to an HBCU doing this stuff at Jackson State, nothing but great things I could imagine would come of that. And it absolutely has. And I don't think it stops there. If it stops, it's going to be because HBCUs stop. It's going to be because we stop. It's going to be because we're not doing our part. He can't do everything.
He said that basically, if you support this, if I'm here and you support it, you can continue to support it when I'm gone. And so if we support our institutions like they supported JSU because Deion Sanders was there, we will still get the same kind of treatment as we go forward. The other thing to look at here now, Deion can still do for HBCUs and put them in the spotlight because he controls the schedule at Colorado. He has non-conference games to play. So this year he can say, I'm going to play JSU and I'm going to play Howard and I'm going to play Benedict. They're going to be my non-conference games. I'm only playing these black schools in non-conference. Next year, he can put 3 more schools of HBCUs on the map. We're looking at this in a very minute scope. And we got to look at this in a grandiose way of what this man can continue to do. You think about the NFL Combine. This man can say, okay, well, Colorado players or Colorado's not going to participate if you don't allow HBCUs to come. When he's sitting at those D1 meetings with those other D1 coaches and they're planning out their stuff, hey, you need to invite some HBCUs. These are the conversations that this man can have. If you want him to stay at JSU, this doesn't happen. They don't get to play against, Pac-12 schools and be on TV every weekend and all that. Yeah, granted, they're 1-11. Right. JSU was 7-27, 14-42, or something like that. Before he came there, they sucked, just like Colorado did.
Right. So
to make that argument of why he would leave a winning program to go to a D1 program, what he's saying is hire black coaches because we win.
Come on.
Black coaches because we can get the job done. If he goes to Colorado and gets the job done, now people of color have a chance because he's proven I can go from an HBCU to an all-white institution and win.
Yes.
So hire other black coaches.
Come on. And not only that, I mean, he can relate to the athletes. He can relate to the culture. I mean, he's going to relate. Don't get me wrong. He very much relates to the culture in Colorado as well.
Right.
But these young men, anywhere that he's a coach, there's just so much that he gets to tell them. He's been where they've been, Like I said, I'm not so much into the football part of it, but I'm watching just the life lessons that he's able to provide for them. How could you not? As a parent, how could I not have my son, if he's a great athlete, go wherever Coach Prime is? I have to, and it's
great man, great family man, great man of God. And let me make this point. Somebody made a comment saying that he said that God told him to go to JSU or whatever the case may be. And they said, well, so now opportunity opens up and God is telling you to take the opportunity. You know what? God sometimes will do that. God will tell you to go somewhere, and then in a matter of months, he'll tell you to leave. God will tell you to do something. You'll win, lose, whatever you do. And he said, your time is up. We don't know what God told him to do. So you can't make that argument. God will fire you from a job, the job that you think you're supposed to be at, and you done been there 5, 6, 7 years. God knows that you're not going anywhere. And I need you to be somewhere else. So I'm going to fire you from this job. So you didn't fire yourself.
Come on. And listen, we have someone making that comment right now. She's saying that the way that he has players praying is what captivates me. And I love it, you know? And let's think about this. Everything has a season. Everything has a season. So, okay, yes, God did tell you that the same way that God has the different seasons, the same way as summer and fall and winter and spring. Okay, well, it's a new season and a brother is moving on to a new season,
And there's nothing that he could have done else at Jackson State. I mean, I think you went 12-0, you played for a bowl game, you lost to South Carolina State University here in South Carolina. Then now you're playing for another bowl game. You went 12-0 again. What more could he have done? Because he can't play for a national championship.
Wow.
He can't do that. He can't go up against Nick Saban. He can't go up against Georgia. He can't go up against Tennessee. He can't go, not at a JUCO 2-year school. Can't do any of that.
Right.
So why not go coach a bunch of players and put them in front of that spotlight to where they can get that attention? Because they can't get it at a JUCO.
Wow.
They can't get that national exposure there.
They can't.
They can't. I don't care how many games are on TV at a JUCO. It is a 2-year institution. They're getting 2 years. That's it.
Wow. See, I'm glad you came in to talk about that because that's beyond my knowledge. I'm just not in. I'm not into the sport, like I said. But you're right. I hear what you're saying. Now, I want to ask this question because if we're going to be talking about some of the things, and we feel like this is so much for us to talk about, and in some ways that I want to say are negative, and it seems like we've forgotten all about Brett Favre. What about that? Come on, Mississippi.
Nobody's talking about that.
Why not? Why are we not talking about that? It's like that has just disappeared. Like it's so quiet. Everybody's so quiet about it. But we're talking about Deion. Why? Why do you think that is? Why is it that we do that, Isaac? Why do our people do that? What's up?
I think we hold our people to a higher standard, and we say that we can't control the narrative of white folk, and we can't control the narrative of rich white folk, and we go to where we know that we can get the most people to talk about it, right? Most people are talking about Deion. Most people are going to mention Deion. Most people know Deion. They're the black folk, and so we get to the crux of our feelings and emotions, and not about what's logical and what's sensical. We make things a problem when it's not, because we can control the narrative because we're only talking to our counterparts and talking to our African American communities. I think if you took a poll of 50 black people and asked them at the heart of hearts, do you really care about the Deion Sanders situation? 80% of them probably tell you, no, it really is a problem. Okay, so why are you on Facebook making comments? Because that's what most of us are doing, and they want to be a part of what's swinging. If most people were happy about it on their timeline, they would have been happy.
Right.
You know, most people aren't talking about Brett Favre. The news not talking about it. Nobody's not talking about it. So it's not a story for black folk. They're talking about Deion taking that position, and it's something that is of the limelight. And we like negativity. We love it.
It's horrible, man. That is horrible.
Even our own people, we love it. We don't want to see each other win. And I can say this because we talked about it. Me and a coach here in Florence was talking, and he was saying, well, what if I leave? I didn't won. If I leave and take another position that paying me 80, 90 grand, I guess the alumni and the people at the school are gonna get mad with me because I left, and they want me to stay here and take the pennies.
Wow.
So
wow.
What are y'all gonna do with me? Y'all know me. So
wow.
y'all gonna talk bad about me for going and getting more money to do the same thing I'm doing at this school. I can't go to another school and do. So you're saying I'm only good for your school. So are we only saying that Deion is good for HBCUs?
You're only good if you're doing it for me. Selfish. That's what it is. And it's just a whole host of athletes and other young people who really deserve what he's going to be able to bring to them. And like he's making them better, pull that talent out of them as well. He really is.
And even on the educational front, and I'll say this, when you go to a 2-year school, you get an associate's degree. You have the opportunity to transfer to a 4-year institution and get a bachelor's degree, but you're getting an associate's degree. Most jobs in America, you need a bachelor's degree to make some good money. So one of the great things about him going to Colorado is a 4-year institution that offers major courses.
Right.
That we need people in jobs. So now he can recruit that black boy from Florence, South Carolina, not to go to a 2-year school, but to go to a 4-year school, play for me, win, get a 4-year degree if you don't go to the NFL, and you can go get yourself a great job, and you don't have to go to another school to this, going all over the place. So that's another medium that he brings to the table. And we just have to look at this thing holistically and what he's doing for our community and what he's doing for other black coaches that wouldn't necessarily get that opportunity to coach. He set up a long list from that JUCO school, from JSU. So now those players, where do you think those players going after 2 years when they got 2 more years of eligibility? Where are they going? They're going to Colorado.
Absolutely.
Set up a train.
Right, as they should. as they should. I see some more people who are coming in with comments here. Let's see. Let me put a comment up here for you. We got Annie McCall. How you doing, Annie? She said, your gift will make room for you, and it's making room for Prime. But guess what? He is willing to reach back and bring some people with him. It's all about the vision.
It's all about the vision.
Absolutely. It's all about the vision. I mean, people are just being so narrow minded, and you've got to be able to look at the bigger picture. Um, and beyond, for me, because I like media, you see me around town with the cameras doing different things. But what I've also been paying attention to is that he has one of his other son, I think is Junior,
Mm-hmm.
who actually is doing like the media for him. So I think he's on YouTube. I think it's Well Off Media. And you look at that. He's got one of his kids working in the marketing. He's setting it up. He's teaching these young people
Mm-hmm.
how to use their marketing well. I'm listening to those kind of things behind the scenes. And I think that is important too, because
Right.
like you said, these young people have to figure out, well, what am I going to do beyond the sport? And media, as you know it, media is really, really big, because everybody can do their thing. Everybody actually has a platform, and I think everybody should have one, but I think you should know how to use it. And if you're going to take it serious, take it serious. And I like that. I like everything about the whole picture,
Mm-hmm.
people, the whole picture.
And that's what most people are getting into when they leave sports. They're going into media. Think about LeBron James. Think about Chris Paul. That's what they're doing. So it sets up a whole different stream of income, and that generational wealth that we talk about.
It does.
It sets it up, and not only it is not about sports. It's about a production company that could make major movies one day,
Absolutely.
and commercials and everything. So we have to think about the platform that he's providing for Black athletes, providing for his sons, and what he's teaching his sons.
Mhm.
Every opportunity ain't a good opportunity, but look at every opportunity and make the best decision for you.
Right.
Not for the people around you, but for you.
Right. When we think about like some of the athletes who are really heavily moving into the media space, and there's some quality podcasts and quality productions being put out right now.
Mhm.
If you think about the things like I Am Athlete, you have the Pivot. There's the guys who do basketball. What is it? All That Smoke, or I hope I'm not butchering up their name too much. But you look at that, and not only that, but they get to look at Charles Barkley, look at what Shaq is doing. So there's just a world and out there bigger than football, and people just need to open their minds.
Yeah, and that's what he's providing for them. He's providing that space for them, saying you can get beyond what you're doing and get beyond football. And so he's teaching them about life. And in a lot of his videos, he's saying, hey, this ain't even about football. This is about life. I'm speaking life into you. Don't let football motivate you. Let just your life and where you want to get to motivate you, and whatever avenue that is, let it motivate you every day. Football is just a blessing to be able to do it, and it's an avenue to take, but you should be motivated just by your own self. Be motivated to do something better and be better with yourself. And so I love that he pours into his athletes and the students like that, and treating them like his own sons.
Absolutely. I want to put up another comment here. We've got actress Jackie Crouton here, and she says, write the vision and make it plain. He's preparing to leave a legacy behind. Each one reach one. He's trying to reach many with the gift that God has given him.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's wisdom right there.
That is.
That's wisdom right there.
It is. Hey, hey, how you doing, Jackie? Serious actress. She's in Charlotte, so I love her.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in. But that's it. I think that's it in a nutshell. Like all of this conversation about he hasn't finished the job. I just don't understand how people can put their mouths together to do that. And I've been reading many posts and reading many people commenting like that. And I'm like, wow, how many of you who are saying that he hasn't finished a job and you're upset that he's going to a PWI, how many of you work at a Black company? How many of you support local Black businesses?
How many of you bought a ticket to an HBCU game? How many of you bought an HBCU t-shirt?
Right. How many of your kids go to an HBCU?
Right.
Have you made a donation to an HBCU?
Right.
Like crickets.
And some of y'all are alumni and you still don't give back to your school. But some of y'all didn't even go to HBCUs.
And your kids don't.
And your kids don't. But
Okay.
you're worried about what Prime doing. I don't understand. This man he's done his job. He has paved the way for the next generation. And what he's been able to do in a week at Colorado is just insane. With the number of tickets they sold and the money they've made in just a week, it's insane. Or whatever. Jackson State hasn't made money like that in years.
Wow.
They don't even have running clean water in Jackson, Mississippi.
They have a water issue. The conditions are horrible. Look at the things that he put up with and that the students are putting up with. And for me, I feel like those are some of the things that some of us are aware of. But I think a light being shined upon that, I think we need to take a closer look at that, because HBCUs, in all fairness, they're not receiving the resources like PWIs. We know that. Right. Yeah. And we need to be asking why. We need to make sure that they are receiving some of those resources. Yes, we do need to give. We do. We need to give back. There's a part for us. But why are they not receiving some of the same type of resources? We need to be asking those questions.
Clemson is receiving, I know about 4 or 5 years ago, they were receiving like $680 million from the government. I know it should be more now. Then South Carolina was receiving about $480 million. And then South Carolina State University was only receiving about $165 million. So the disparity that you have there in the dollars even is wrong in a sense. I think across the board, you give colleges what they need in order to maintain. Now, right. Get it that Clemson and South Carolina are big schools, but we shouldn't have problems. Right. At South Carolina State University. They should get everything that they need. And maybe if that number is 300 million, you give them 300 million, but you don't flatline them to say, hey, this is what you do, and you do with it because it's not enough. Right. Or whatever. So make it comparable to those other schools, and we can make some things happen.
Yes. And I've got to give this shout out to Benedict College, their football team. They won their conference. That's something that we've given so much spotlight to what's going on right now with Coach Prime and what's going on at Jackson State. And that's because Coach Prime is going to bring that spotlight. But people in South Carolina who live here, we need to be celebrating Benedict. And if South Carolina State got what they got, you can only imagine what Benedict got, Yeah.
And let me be the first to say, if you live in South Carolina, you've known about HBCUs all your life. If you live in South Carolina, people have been paving the way for you for universities here your entire life. South Carolina State has produced some of the most prolific athletes that we see on the football field. So it's not that we're not accustomed to it. I think we just got jaded in that Deion Sanders thing. We mistook some words that he said when he fussed with the D1 coaches. When he blew up with Nick Saban. I think we took those things and we ran with them and said that, he said that he was going to do this and we need to believe in this and that. No, y'all, he didn't say that, and he didn't do that. He was making a point that he's going to fight for HBCUs, and that's what he did. Doesn't mean stay there forever. Right. But we've got to look back and realize, hold on, y'all, we've been supporting HBCUs. He's just saying, let's do more.
Right.
More to get them there. His name carried weight.
Yes.
So we have to understand that as well. Because Buddy Pugh been winning. Buddy Pugh got he got 7 rings. He's been winning at South Carolina State.
Okay.
He's not Deion Sanders.
Respect. I got you, man. Football. Again, I don't know that much about football, but a sport that I do know a little bit more about is basketball. Basketball. I know a little something. I played a little bit
You
as
was
a
in the gym
kid.
shooting? You was
You
in the
know,
gym shooting?
I don't want to say, I got some skills just because I got some skills. But I know a little bit about basketball. And if we're going to talk about basketball, we got some great news that we have been waiting on for a very, very long time. Let's talk a little bit about Brittney coming home. Woo! What a relief.
It is.
Wow.
It is. It
Wow,
is.
wow, 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 wow. Man, what do you think about, how it transpired?
Um, Me being in the political arena, I think I look at things from a different lens than everybody else does. That's not in politics, and I know and understand that these things takes time. And we knew it would be time for her to come home if that deal was done. Um, but we're glad that we got it done, and so we're excited that she'll be home with her family. We're excited that it can be any color woman, black, blue, green, whatever. But the fact that a black woman is able to be at home with her family for the holidays, be warm in her own home, and be loved by her own people, that's enough for me. That it's a
Mhm.
black woman uh, trying to be held down, but God prevailed.
Mhm.
Because you can say what you want to say about the Biden administration, but it was only God who made that happen. And so this symbolizes that black women are still the strongest women that is known to mankind. Black women have been through the struggle. Black women have put this country on notice that they're coming through, and they're coming through swift and boldly, and you can't keep them down. And this is just another extraordinary event that we should be applauding and not talking negative about, and her coming home and still showing that black girl magic.
Yes, absolutely. Like I watched some of the news clips, of her getting on the plane. Because when I heard about it, I was happy. That was one of the first posts that I saw this morning. And, it just brought me a whole lot of joy. But when I actually saw her walking onto the plane, that was just a different comfort. Um, of course, they cut her hair, you know,
Mhm.
which I guess we should probably expect. But it,
Yeah,
it, it was just, I don't know. I can just imagine her family right now. I can imagine how they feel because I'm at almost a loss for words. It's just
right.
I was afraid. I just couldn't imagine. I wouldn't want her to be in jail in the United States, but certainly not in a
Not in Russia.
country like Russia. You know,
Hmm.
Absolutely crazy, man. So I'm really happy about it.
Um, but what I'm not happy about is the negative comments that have come and have arisen out of this. The, the, First of all, is Russia and Putin. So the deal was going to be made the way he wanted to be made. I want to say a point about the Wheeler family. I want him to come home. Um, I hope that he'll come home. Um, but what we have to understand is that that man has sat there for 4 years. He is a citizen of 4 countries. All 4 of those countries have tried for 4 years to get him home.
Mm,
Putin knew that he was never going to let him go.
right,
He knows that. That's it's just not going to happen. Because he carries a bigger weight to America than Brittney Griner.
right.
So even the Whelan family said today that we're overjoyed that she was able to come home. If you can't get everything done, at least get one person home. There's no reason for Brittney to sit there if we can get a trade done, regardless of who this man is that they released. If it was your family and they had a chance to come home, you wouldn't be caring about who the person they let go, as long as you could hold your loved one and hug them and talk to them and feel them. We have got to stop being so hard on our people. She's a black woman that came home at the most loving time of the
Mm,
year,
right.
Christmas.
Right.
And
Right.
she get to hold her kids.
Yes.
She get to hold her wife. If her mother's still living, she gets to hold her mother.
Yes.
Regardless of anything. And so we
Yes.
gotta stop being so critical. When this thing first happened, I told people to stop giving their opinions because you don't know the whole story.
Right.
And so if you would have done your research, this thing about trading this guy has been there since like May. So it's no news that they were going to trade this particular guy. But yet in May and June, you were, she should come home. We need to do whatever we need to do to get her home.
Right.
But now they've done whatever they needed to do to get her home. Now we're mad.
Upset.
What do y'all want?
They don't know. They don't know. But we've got Jackie. She's come in here again. And she's like, praise God. Was praying for her. Glad she's back in the country. You know, God intervened. She says, look out for a movie to follow.
Look out for a movie to follow.
Look, hey, it's a hell of a story.
Yeah. And the other thing I want people to think, and you can crucify me for this if you want to say that she was wrongfully detained, to me is so it's a stretch. She broke the law, so she got detained. That is a law. Their law is whatever it is over there, right?
Respect.
Now, was she wrongfully done to think that those charges are just worth 9 years? I mean, to me, no.
It was, you know why it was crazy? You know why I thought it was crazy? Because she was playing basketball for them.
Already.
I'm like, really? Okay, so that's what you really think of her? Why was she there? It wasn't like she was just, on vacation.
Right.
She went to work for you.
Right.
So that for me was like, they showing no respect at all. So that threw me. I'm not going to get into, the whole incident. Let me let me take a little sip. Because everybody has their opinion about marijuana. And even in our country, we've got different opinions. There's different laws for different states. So we get that. Get that. But that really was very harsh.
Yeah.
For some vape pens.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
It really was.
That part I agree with. Yeah. It really harsh. And the other thing we have to remember too now, in February, that's when this Ukraine and Russia thing started to happen. And so what way then to show an example to America than to take one of their biggest stars and make them pay. Luckily for America didn't pay no mind. They still did do what they needed to do and help Ukraine. And Russia needed a win. That's what we have to think about too. They needed a win at this point. Russia's losing the war in Ukraine. And so this deal is not about helping America. That was not about that. It was about securing a win for Russia. And so that guy coming back to that country is a win for Putin because he's getting his behind tore up in this war and trying to get his people to be on his side to say that this war is justified when his whole country is saying, no, bro, you wrong.
And listen, we've got a comment here that we've got a question actually that someone want to ask. We got Miko Pickett here. She's like, how do you know it wasn't a setup? The Russian government had a plan. They needed to get her to get the monster out.
A plan. Yeah. That's what I just said. It was an opportunity when this war started. Let's take one of their biggest stars and let's keep her because we need something. Right. Again, they needed a win. And shouts out to Miko Pickett in Marion over there doing a fabulous job over there in Marion. So shout out
to good people.
Yeah, good
always
people.
Doing a lot of things for the community there. We gotta love her. Definitely.
But I just wish the negative comments would stop. We really don't know all the information and people are saying, well, I don't know. They should have left him in there and let her sit there. I think that's being a little critical. I think that's been a little harsh. And again, if it was your family member you would want them to do everything that they can in order to get your family member home, even if that is getting rid of a terrorist, getting a terrorist back to their home town or whatnot. So
Yes.
we got to be grateful. God has a plan.
Right.
That's all I would say.
Absolutely.
God has a plan, and so you cannot worry and pray in the same sense. It cannot
Choose
happen.
one. Choose
You
one.
got to choose one. And if we prayed for her to get released, he gave you your prayers. Now you're saying, God, hold up. You can't do that.
Can't do it. You really can't. Let's see what Annie McCall is saying here. She's like, yes, I was going to say the person they traded was a mastermind behind the arms trading. So, in my opinion, they knew what they were going to do. Yes, yes, yes. We've said it. It's
Mhm.
right. But that the larger conversation is, listen, this woman needed to be out. It's a blessing. We're happy that she can come home. You said it at one of the most loving times of the year, because whether you celebrate Christmas or not, for whatever reason, it just
Mhm.
has a different feel. People are in a different mood. It's one of the most loving and giving times. So let's take it. Let's
Thank
take
you.
the win. That's what I would have wanted.
Yeah, it's a
I would
win.
have, yeah, that's what I would have wanted. That's what I would have wanted for my kid. And it's certainly what I would have wanted for anybody else. You got to have that type of compassion, you know?
I think we've lost that along the way. We've lost compassion because we're so critical of everything and everything that happens, that we need to stop, take a breath, and say, put myself in your shoes, and what would I do? What would I say? How would I react? And we all would be reacting in a positive manner again if it was us. We have to think about where America is going and what America is. America is a melting pot. America is about democracy. America is about the home of the brave, the home of the free. And we got to stop taking America for granted, because some of the things that we do in this country, we can't do anywhere else. We can be
Absolutely.
critical of our president here and not get shot, killed, and thrown in a dungeon. You can't do that everywhere.
You
We can be
can.
critical of situations on social media and talk about people on social media. You can't do that everywhere else.
You
In
can.
some nations, the internet is banned. In some
Yes.
nations, they can't even go on certain sites and write certain statuses because it's banned. So stop being so critical and be thankful that you live in a country that allows you the opportunity to fight for causes like this and make the administration do something that's in your favor. And you fought all year for Joe Biden's administration to get this young lady released. Now she's released, and now you're pulling back saying, well, I don't know. We have to stop doing that, and we have to have a sense of pride, dignity, and compassion for other people. That's the only way we're going to get by in this nation and get by in our communities.
Absolutely, man. Well said. Well said. I tell you what, when I was looking for someone to talk to about these topics, I was like, okay, well, I see Isaac out here doing his thing. He's a pundit on Fox. He's in Atlanta. Am I going to be able to talk to Isaac? And you kind of,
Always,
am I
always.
going to be able to talk to him? Because when we see each other in person, it's always a conversation.
Yeah.
We always have a lot to talk about. And I'm just glad you took this opportunity to come in and talk to me. Are there any last messages that you probably want to leave with the people? I know you're doing so many other things, so I don't know what you want to talk about, but I do want to say that I'm very proud of some of the things that I see you do right here in the community. I know you have the Isaac Wilson project,
Mhm.
so if you want to talk a little bit about that and talking about the event you have coming up in the new year.
Yeah. So the Isaac Wilson Project is a youth development company. We focus on bullying and suicide prevention. So we're out every day fighting for your children, that they have regulations in place at schools to combat that. And when they don't, we step in, sue school districts, talk to legislators and what so and so forth, and make things happen to where your child is safe, because there's a lot of bullying incidents going on, a lot of kids that are committing suicides or at least trying to commit suicides, and we have to stop that. And I'm a big component that suicides is not the answer to anything that we do in life. In January the 20th, I will hold the 6th annual Evening of Distinction. That event is for people in that community, locally here in Florence and surrounding areas. We give awards to them because they're doing amazing things in our community. This is a whole African American thing. We don't award, we only award African Americans that are doing great things, because oftentimes we get overlooked for the work that we're doing. So I wanted to create something that was just specifically for us, that we can put our stuff on show, and let people know that what we're doing in our communities. Because oftentimes our communities are moving forward for people that are doing big things and big work behind the scenes, and those people need to be elevated once or twice in their lifetime. So that's what we created. So January the 20th, it'll be at the Hellenic Center here in Florence, South Carolina. It starts at 7 p.m.
All right. All right, man. I
Yeah.
tell you, I
And new
appreciate it.
podcast coming. Podcast is coming. Look
Oh,
out for the podcast. It is coming. People have been wanting Isaac Wilson to do a podcast. It will be coming January
need to.
2023.
if anybody needs a podcast, definitely it is you, man. You know, you always have great conversation. You're looking at both sides of the story.
Mhm.
I like that about you. You know, you're fair.
Yeah.
You know, it's oftentimes we have our opinions, and that's fine. You
Mhm.
can have your opinion, but it's also important to be fair.
Right.
And I always know that about you, and I always appreciate that about you. Just to backtrack just a little bit, what you do with giving out the awards in the community, that's a very big thing. I appreciate that, because you
Oh,
don't
yeah,
get a
you were
lot.
the recipient.
Well, well, I wasn't saying that to say that. I was saying that because it is important.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
everybody's not going to be big stars. Everybody's not going to be Hollywood. There are people who live in their hometowns and who love their hometowns
Mhm.
and are doing what they are doing behind the scenes, whether people know it or not. You know, and you don't do these things to get the spotlight.
Right.
But when you are recognized, it really is a nice thing. And it felt really good. It felt really good to get it from my people. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Always, always.
All
Much
right.
love.
All right, man. Well, I think it's time for us to kind of wrap it up. I know some
Go.
more people might have some things to say. They might, but they're just gonna have to talk about it. They're just gonna have to, start tapping those keys,
Right.
Some
What they
that's what
do. That's what they do. That's what they do.
all right,
Hey,
man.
look. Let me say this before we leave.
Mhm.
I say this with love for everybody. Love one another. A lot of people love to say we have a lot of time left. We do not. We just had the mayor of Johnston, Mayor Colbreth, good friend of mine, just passed away. Just passed away, heart attack. We don't have a lot of time. So if there's somebody you holding a grudge against, if there's somebody that you don't like because something happened 10 years ago, if there's some family that you guys are arguing over a piece of property, or you guys are arguing over some crap, life is short. And we are losing our kids at 14, 15, 16 years old to violence. We have got to set an example. We've got to love one another in a way that Christ loves the church. And we don't have to agree for everything. We don't have to agree to everything, but we can agree to love each other.
Yes.
And respect each other in spite of those differences. So
Absolutely.
do that for me as you carry on the rest of your life. Just love and respect one another so we can all live a long, prosperous life as God intended us to live, and do things and build our communities up so that we can live safe in them.
All right, man. Listen, I couldn't have said it better myself. And in fact, there's nothing else to really be said in this particular moment. We should probably do this again.
Yes.
We
I'll be
probably should
ready.
do this again. All right. Well, you heard it, guys. Have a little bit more respect. Show some love for each other. We're all we got. We really are. So I want to thank you guys for coming in. Thank everybody who came in through the comments. Thank Isaac Wilson for taking the time to give his take on it. And you know my take. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. And I hope to see you another time. Make sure that you subscribe.